I'm going to keep going, and because I know we have we're almost out of time. Live, work, play, learn environment, providing a desirable walkable urban environment. We have some specific items here about the canal walk, streetscapes, cleaning up trash, expanding the residential base of opportunities through market rate and affordable housing options. A couple specific ideas relating to historic tax credits and incentives in gateway cities. Focus commercial retail activity on a couple of the key corridors in the downtown area, such as High Street and Main Street, with active first floor use, and trying to have the nonprofit services primarily on the upper floors. And as we discussed before, and a lot of this ties to the meetings that we held before, but hosting more downtown Holyoke events. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep moving. Like I said, this is all in the memo.
Well, and there's a period of comment, too. This is
Right.
preparing all of you to write things down and send them in.
Right. And last but definitely not least, providing a world-class economic development environment through entrepreneurship, financing, marketing, and delivery of services. So this is specifically looking at expanding small business and entrepreneurial support, including leveraging the existing assets at the Enterprise Center at Stick, low-cost space, tax incentives. The permitting process in Holyoke is viewed as good, but perhaps it can be streamlined even further, extending Holyoke's TIF program that we talked about earlier, the free trade zone, and then finally identifying teams to implement strategy. And where I really want to go next is to give Don a chance to talk a little bit as we transition from some strategic ideas to some ideas about how we will get this work done and the delivery of economic development services.
All right. This is a good slide to wrap up on. With recognition of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the way that young people make decisions as they choose their cities where they want to live before they engage, with that in mind, and I get it 100%, that there's a certain ecosystem that needs to be knitted together, that we are somewhat siloed in terms of delivering entrepreneurial and small business startup. If we take this position seriously, you're commissioning me to work on that and solve that problem in terms of a project for the next 8 weeks. So I'm going to let you know I hear you loud and clear for those of you thinking about the ecosystem. But I thought it would be important, since life begins at the region, to go back to site selection and delivery of economic development services. And I'm going to read them out loud because this is my rule book that I go by. Site consultants are receptive to exactly what markets want to position on websites as long as credibility and updates are maintained. And right now, shame on all of us, we're letting them explore and come without us ever knowing they were here, to Alan's point. We've got to fix that right now. So you look at the short term, let's get the talent supply family together. Let's get everybody involved in the economic development delivery system. Let's get the incentives and customer service together and communicate them aggressively in a way that can be trusted. All right, so there you go. If a market does not position the data in a credible and useful way and on the terms expected by site consultants, they will create their own portfolio. And they will. And if you didn't like what that one slide was about indicators, as broad and general as they were, that's what we're stuck with, brother. So let's fix it right now and keep the trust going. And that ain't hard to do, especially with the brands and the centers of excellence that we have here. If a lack of teamwork and parochial challenges are in plain view of the communities of a region, then it is in plain view of the site consultant. Take it from me, the second thing I do after looking at the regional portfolio on my own terms is commission my media analysts to go out and see if you get along and can really deliver for a generation to come. So is that easy, near term? I think it is, with the spirit of crisis and familiar work that we're doing here. Talent matters the most. Talent matters the most. Whether it's a young person choosing their city before they engage, or whether the big pipeline that we're trying to pull together, seamless, ready tomorrow to serve, ready if I look to the 4th grade level, ready getting an AS at the 12th grade level, prove it, and we can do it. Regions will win and lose based on customer service. That's the closer. That's the incentive. Do you keep your promises? Is the talent really there? Is that site really ready? So part of what I'm going to be commissioned to do is, now if you've got your targets, I'm going to go back and sit down with site locators and go, yes, no, yes, because ready doesn't mean the same thing to every target. And some of it's easier than you think. Some of the readiness we need is some simple mitigation, and you're good to go. It just depends. ED customer service from city to region to state must be clear to all teams. That's ED, economic development. Customer service, clear to all teams. So I'm going state, there we are, state, region, on the ground, clear, because I can find it. Right? If it's not clear and I don't understand the way your pipeline works and your communications, I'm going to find out before you know it's broken. So let's get it right. There's another near one, Jim. Fix that now. And I would see that as a project that I could be commissioned to do over the next few weeks. Let's get it right. Document entrepreneurial activity, especially when it is in the supply chains of target industry clusters. Little longer term, but that's how, that's how we're going to grow. I know you want the big deals over and over again, but it's going to be filling the gaps with those entrepreneurs. Who's their supplier? Who's their providers? Kip, that's where the action is. And that's the hard work. What institute is going to do that? What institute's going to manage that and create a metric that says, we've got 2 more, we got 2 more, we got 2 more? Link the center site decision to related decisions of the past decade in Holyoke and the Pioneer Valley. Conduct due diligence on the processes used. The fact is, the computing center is one in a chain of decisions that have been made about this market in recent years. And what we want to do is get behind that, those decisions. People bet on this market already. They put their money, they put their portfolios out there in this market based on very rigorous scorecards, including cybersecurity, their relationship with the city and their services, and live, work, and play, and transportation. Let's not just start with what the supercomputing center can do. Let's backtrack and figure out what got us to this place. And I think, there's my aha, brother. My aha is people have been betting on this market with rigorous discipline, and we never knew it. And then finally, draw on the site expertise resident in the Pioneer Valley with a special focus on technology, innovation companies, IT, energy, security, and homeland defense. People that make site decisions have the brands already in this market and in Massachusetts. Let's get back to the table with them. Bring you guys in as well. Look at that scorecard, and what do you get out of it? This family will have the most up-to-date scorecard for site location of any team in America if we just do those. Now, how you keep it current, that's up to you in terms of your governance as you go forward. But this is my hit list. I'm thinking about, I've been talking to everybody and working on lots of ideas. I'm tired. I want to work on, 4 or 5 things over the next 2 or 3 months, Dan. And this is kind of the zone where I'm moving into, where we all get real smart real fast and we can win. So, gosh, look at the time. I think we made it, Dan. Next steps, and we're done.
Next steps, and we're done. So, good comments today. We need to revise this strategic framework and the goals, objectives. I mentioned the draft energy strategy document. We're meeting on Tuesday on that. We're planning to do some follow-up, what I'm calling strategic workshops on some key areas such as digital technologies and entrepreneurship, trying to tie together the assets and find what it really means for a business case here in Holyoke and the region. Smart grid and energy as another near-term play. As Don talked about, doing his due diligence regarding strategic opportunities in terms of industries, site selectors, and it also ties into the universities. And completing the draft strategies with the goal of coming back here in roughly 2 months. And I put it in there, longer working session. You saw it today. There's a lot here. There's a lot to talk about, and we're going to have even more information to go through in 2 months. And that's all I have.